Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Joe Wentz for the Joe Wentz Project podcast, and I'm very honored and humbled to have Mr. Dave Nesdall joining me for this hangout. Mr. Nesdall, how are you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, Joe? What's going on?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this. And I'm still new at
Oh,
this game, so I'm trying to learn.
it's
And
my pleasure.
I just
Absolutely my pleasure. It's good to be on here with you.
wanted to say thank you. I really, really have a lot of respect for you and Johnny and Eric and Rob and Mully, and because watching you guys is what inspired me to want to do this. And I'll tell you what, I was that close to just throwing the towel in through the whole thing because it just I felt like I just wasn't feeling it, and
Right.
then so I found a way to try to get a little bit better quality, um, which I don't know about how this is going to come out. I was using my smartphone earlier and it looked really good. I'm using my wife's tablet right here. So this is the first time using it and it looks kind of dark. So I apologize to any of the viewers, but we'll get it right next time. So,
It looks pretty good. I wouldn't worry about it being so dark. I mean, uh, are there windows by you? Is it dark out where you are? It's got to
yes,
be. You're
sir.
on the
It
East
is.
Coast, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm in South Carolina. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
So it would,
Yeah. Well, I think
it,
that's the problem because earlier when we spoke, it was light out, and if you had
right.
any light coming into that room, that's why it was lighter. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have every light on in my living room and in my kitchen. That's why I look so bright because I've got two big ceiling lights and two lights in the kitchen. I'm blind as a bat without light, so I have to have it bright in here. But
Oh,
I think it's
it
fine.
looks tremendous. I think that's what I need to do. I need to put some more lights in here or another light over here. And I think that would really help. But like I said, I'm learning as I'm going along here. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason it's this light is because it's my living room.
right,
It's a room that I'm in this room all the time. It's just my living room slash music room.
right,
So
right,
this is where I play. This is where I play and I record and do all my stuff. But
right.
my if I was in my bedroom or if I was in any other room in the house, it'd be as dark or darker than yours. So it's all good.
Oh,
If you wanted to put like a spotlight, maybe hook a spotlight up to one of them shelves over your left shoulder, that
right.
might work. And
Sounds like a
just
good idea.
point it upwards so it's not hitting you in the back of the neck. Point it upwards at the
Right.
ceiling and it should brighten up the whole room.
Oh, okay. I will definitely try that. I will absolutely try that. I want to come up, I want to present the best audio and video I can with what I have to work with here, which
Well, the
isn't a lot.
videos, the audio sounds great. I mean, I hear you crystal clear. Everything is great.
Oh,
Again, I'm looking at you on my iPhone, so it's a very small photo. Uh, I don't have my laptop hooked up. I just got a new laptop yesterday. I'm very psyched about it. But
oh, wow.
yeah, but my roommate has his set up here today, so I'm just not gonna screw with it. He's doing a wedding. He's doing a gig today, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah,
Oh,
it's fine. Just talking to you on my cell phone.
okay. Good deal. Good deal. Mr. Nesdall, I would like to talk about what is your go-to guitars? Like when you're uh, either wanting to do a gig or whatever, what is your favorite go-to guitar? The one that you pretty much use, your workhorse, the
Well,
one that you turn to.
I have a few. I have a few, and it really depends on my mood. It depends on how strong my fingers are feeling. Uh, it depends on whether or not I want to use a Floyd Rose or a stop tailpiece. I usually before any gig, I pick up three or four guitars and I just play them and see what I'm feeling. I generally will either play my Les Paul or I have an old beat up Strat with humbuckers in it that I love. It's like a single hum type thing, and it's a kind of like a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and Steve Vai all at the same time. And that's
Oh, okay.
if I'm taking one guitar to a gig, that's the guitar I take because I can get a Strat sound, a humbucker sound, everything out of that guitar, and it's comfortable and it always stays in tune. So if I take one
Awesome.
guitar, that's the guitar I take. If I'm taking a couple guitars, generally my white Wolfgang, my white USA Wolfgang Arch Top is definitely one of them that come with me, and I'll either take my Les Paul or that Strat. Uh, I've been known to take a Telecaster with me. I love my Tellies.
I do too.
Yeah, it really depends on what the gig is, the type of songs I'm going to be doing, and I like to when I'm doing a gig, I generally like to use the same type of gear that the original artist is using. I try to get the same sounds. I try to mimic whatever the artist that I'm playing. I try to mimic that sound the best I can. So if I'm doing a lot of clapping stuff, I'm going to take either a Les Paul or a Strat, depending on the era of clapping stuff that I'm doing. If I'm doing Hendrix, I'm definitely taking a Stratocaster with me, and
Right.
maybe even a Floyd Rose guitar because Hendrix, he was the king at using the tremolo. You know, even a Fender tremolo, he just, he yanked it all the time.
Yes.
If I'm doing a wedding gig, chances are I'm just taking one guitar because the guitar isn't really the focus in a wedding gig. So it's probably going to be that beat up Strat. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you're interested, I can actually show you the guitars. I can take you over to the wall and actually show you the guitars that I take with me.
Oh, absolutely. That would be one.
Little trip. Take you on a little
Okay, no
trip to
problem.
Guitarland.
Okay, nice.
I'm going to turn this over. Let's see if I can get this to work. Ball. And again, if it's just one particular, if it's a gig where I'm taking one guitar, this is it. This is the guitar. And you can see what I mean by it's a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and Steve Vai because the pickup configuration is definitely a Steve Vai thing.
That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And
yeah,
I'd also like to say real quick, Mr. Dave, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
oh,
for
sure.
some reason, the live chat box is not active. I must have done something wrong. So for people who are wondering why you can't comment, it's my fault. I've done something. I didn't do something right. So please forgive me because I was really looking forward to the comments and it's not active. I don't know why. So I apologize.
Well, yeah, that sucks. But what can you do? It's not always perfect. Here's my white Wolfgang. This guitar comes with me to almost every show. I love this guitar more than life. It's really my favorite guitar.
That's beautiful.
And today only, I have Rob Johnson's relic version of that same guitar here.
Wow. Look at that.
Guitar is insanely great. It's just ridiculous how good this is.
That is beautiful.
Can you see the weather checking? Can you see the weather
Yes.
checking in that? And that was all done by hand.
Wow. Man. Wow.
Absolutely crazy.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and this is one. I have 3 Tellys, but this one is the one that I'll take to a gig. It's a custom shop Fender roasted Telecaster 52 Telly.
Yes.
Very light. This guitar is about 6 pounds. And if
Wow.
my Les Paul, this is my 59. When this guitar goes with me, I don't leave it behind. It stays either in my hands or I'll stay on the stage.
Right.
I don't let anyone get close to this.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. And that's really it. I mean, I'll show you a quick panoramic thing of the wall here. So hang on one second. I'm sorry about the phone. Just, you know.
Oh, it's okay. It's no problem.
We've all seen this wall of guitars. You know, it's the background to my hangouts with Johnny Bean, and you can see some of the amps too. You don't get to really see these.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's very interesting. I love looking at that.
Yeah, these are all these. This Quad 6 is it's all tube hand wired. This is my Reverb Deluxe. This is 40 watts hand wired, 210s. This is 212s, 210s. This is my Plexi. It's a 100-watt Plexi made by the same guy at Rock and Roll Amps. This is kind of like my Friedman BE 100 amp.
Right.
It's 100 watts. It's got that, you know, that, and the clean channel is a Dumble as well.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
a 212. That's a 212 bottom. There's an original 1965 Fender Super Reverb. That's
Wow.
one of my main amps. You know, I do a lot of gigs with that amp. In there, under in that cover is a version of this amp here. This is 210s, so it's slightly bigger. And in my bedroom, I have 60 Fender 515 and my 5150 50-watt head with two 212 bottoms as well. And then you come over here, and here are the guitars, the striped Van Halens.
Oh, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, did you make those, Dave? Did you build all those?
Most of them. There are a few here that I did not build. And then here's the newest edition that I got from my buddy Rob Johnson today.
Amazing. Just absolutely.
I have a black and yellow EVH that's in that first rack there. I traded him that guitar and my red made in Mexico Wolfgang for this. And this is just what a great guitar this is. It's amazing. I can't believe he actually said he'd do the trade, but
wow.
We're both very happy with it.
Man.
And this guitar here, this is an Ibanez that was given to me by my buddy Larry Mitchell. This guitar has been around the world several times. My friend Larry was Billy Squire's guitar player in 1991. And this is the guitar that he used in 1991 on that tour. And then in 1993 or 94, he was on the road with Tracy Chapman. He was Tracy Chapman's guitar player. So this guitar went on the road again in 94. And you can see it, and all of Tracy's every appearance that they made on TV, like I think they were on the Tonight Show, or they were on whatever talk shows as the guest. You can see Larry playing this guitar. And a few years back, he actually just gave it to me because it was my favorite guitar of his. I've known him for 25 plus years, and he one day just said, "I'm not using it anymore. Would you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love it." And he gave it to me.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Good. That's pretty much it. I mean, I do have other ones that are, they're around the cabinet, of the house. I have some guitars that are at different friends' house. I have some guitars at my dad's in North Carolina. So when I fly down there, I don't have to really bring a guitar with me.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Now, whereabouts in North Carolina does your father live? What town?
He lives in Arden, which is just outside of Asheville.
Right. I know exactly where you're talking about. That's probably about maybe 45 minutes from where I'm at right now.
Where are you, in Greenville?
I'm in Greenville County, but I live in a small town called Marietta, South Carolina.
Okay, yes, I've
And
heard it. Mhm.
so for us to get to Asheville, we just go right down the back roads here and get on I-26.
Right.
Go ahead and go westbound, and you come into it's not long you're in Asheville. And actually, my job that I work at now, I drive a truck for a dairy out of Spartanburg, and our main customer is Walmart. And
No kidding.
I've been there for over 16 years. So our runs are based on seniority. The longer you're
Right.
there, the better run you can pick, right?
Sure.
And so I had to do stores for over 10 years before I could get out of Walmart and do like a different run that doesn't pertain to Walmart, which is what you want, because you deal with Walmart. It's okay to go shopping there, but when you have to deliver there, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yep.
And so there was a run that I did for years. I called it the mountain run, and we did Arden, Waynesville, Silva, stuff like that, all up there in the mountains. And
Sure.
I've been to Arden plenty of times, delivering. But yeah, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's now how often do you gig? Do you gig pretty regular, or is it just
I
once a
was
month?
until this past summer, I was gigging 5 nights a week.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I recently I had some problem with my eyes. I had problems with my eyes where I have cataracts. I had 2 cataracts in my eyes, and for a young guy, that's kind of weird, but it happens to everyone. I thought it only happened to elderly people, but
Right.
I couldn't drive at night because I couldn't see the roads. So I
Mm.
had to, for a long time, I had to sub out my gigs, and I canceled a lot of gigs, and I actually
Right.
left my one regular working band because I was incapacitated. I couldn't ask someone to drive me and carry my gear to all my gigs. I just didn't feel
Right.
I didn't feel that was right. So I picked someone to replace me, and until I was healthy enough, until I'm healthy enough to gig every night again, I'm just stuck here. and
Okay.
which is not bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I miss gigging every night? Absolutely. It's the most fun in the world. I absolutely suggest everyone do it if they can. But yeah, I was gigging 5 nights a week. I had one eye done in May, and next Thursday I have the next eye done, and within like 4 or 5 days after that, I can start looking for gigs again because I'll be able to see out of both eyes.
Oh,
And
okay. Good
and
deal.
I'm already driving at night. It's just sometimes, like if it rains, my depth perception is a little bit off. So I'm not very comfortable with driving at night, especially if I don't know the roads I'm on yet.
Right.
But if it's just to go to the store and back or whatever, I'll drive at night because it's just the main road and I can see. But I'm not 100% yet. I don't want to hurt anyone, and I certainly don't want to hurt myself.
Right.
And so I'm just waiting patiently to get my eyes done. My second eye.
Now, how long when did you started gigging all the time? Because I remember you said you used to work at Guitar Center for quite some time, and you were like a manager.
I did. I was. I've been gigging professionally since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I was in a wedding band from the time I was 16 till the time I was about 38, 39, around there. And we played every weekend. We did weddings every weekend. We did probably 130 shows, 130 weddings a year. 120,
Wow.
130. Recently, the band retired because everyone started having children and they wanted to be home with their kids, on the weekends. And we all made our money, and and that's really how I have all these instruments and all these nice toys from that wedding band. I was also in the '90s. I worked at Manny's Music in Manhattan,
Awesome.
and that was that was the most amazing time of my life because that's when I met Eddie Van Halen. I was able to several times. I was able to be his assistant and help him out and become very friendly with him. Then in 2001, I started working for Guitar Center. I worked for Guitar Center until 2009. And I was probably for 2 or 3 years straight. Towards the end, I was a $1 million salesperson. I used to sell $1 million of gear a year by myself.
Wow. Wow.
It's pretty amazing. You know, I was very lucky to be in some very busy stores, and I had a lot of nice customers, great people. Some had lots of money. In 2006, I sold 8 of the Frankenstein replicas for $25,000 a piece.
Wow.
And that got back to Eddie Van Halen, and I got tickets to go see him. He sent me tickets to go see him that year, 2007 and 8, those shows, to meet me, to thank me. He didn't realize it was the same guy that helped him out back in the 90s until when he saw me, he was like, I know you. I know you're Dave, right? Your name's Dave? I'm like, yeah. He says, I remember you from quite a few years ago. And every time that I've dealt with Eddie Van Halen, he has been nothing but a dream. He's a great guy, sweetheart of a guy, and I cherish every moment that I've ever spent with that guy. Hopefully there'll be more. You never know. But if I never see him again, I still have I have a part of my life that not everyone gets to have, and that's very personal to me. It's very every time I talk about the times I had with him, I actually relive it in my brain. I'm reliving it as I talk about it, and I remember different things each time. I remember I remember everything that I've said in the past, and I'm like, oh yeah, we did this too, and this, and every time it's just there's a new thing that I remember about it. Because back then, 1998, there were no cell phone cameras. There were no, really, there's the only thing that I have to remember it all is in here.
Right.
And it's just, it's an amazing thing. But in 2009, while still gigging and working at Guitar Center, I decided that I didn't really want to. I didn't want to do a day job anymore. I was like, you know what? I think I can make it work. I can gig. I think and make a living. So I quit Guitar Center and pounded the pavement and got gigs and started working 5 to 6 nights a week playing music. And I was living the dream, gigging for a living, and that was a lot of fun, and it will be fun again. It's sometimes, I'm diabetic, so sometimes diabetes gets in the way. You get
right.
Unhealthy. Right now, knock wood, I'm super healthy. I've lost a lot of weight. My blood sugars are all normal. I'm under control.
Fantastic.
I'm getting my eyes worked on. I go to the gym to tone up. I'll always see myself as that really fat guy, because I've been overweight all my life. And I saw a photo of me and my friend Rob Johnson, that was taken this morning at my house.
Right.
And I looked at it and I'm like, Rob, we're both looking. He was like, you look really thin. I'm like, I can't believe it, because I used to be like if Rob was standing behind me years ago, you would never know there was a person behind me, a full person. Right. But I'm standing next to him. I'm like, man, my legs are thin. My God, my tummy is thin. My arms. I look like a thin guy. Yeah, I still have a little bit of a gut, but I look like a thin guy. I can't believe it. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, I guess I'm really not as fat as I think I am, or as I was.
Now I remember I
I
remember
used to hate myself in photos.
I remember seeing some of your older videos, and I didn't realize that was you until I started watching uh, you and Johnny some time back, and I looked and I said, I know that guy, I recognized him, but I wasn't sure. And I went back on your channel, and of course it was some older videos, and I said, that's Dave, and you have lost a considerable amount of weight, man. I mean, a lot. It's
Yeah,
making
yeah.
the transition, man.
And thank you. I'm working hard, and I want to keep going. I want to be under 200 pounds. I'm just about there. I'm about 227, 228.
Right.
And that was over 300 pounds. I was just over 300 pounds. And I
Wow.
lost all that weight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was
Man.
300 pounds when I was in high school. And I
Wow.
was that weight. I was that weight for almost all my life. And I got sick. And, I was in danger of dying. I said, I need to do something, and I need to do it now.
Right.
And this is going to sound very cliche. I was living to eat, and now I eat to live. I was living my life just to eat, and I changed it around. Now I eat to survive. I don't. Do I cheat? Everyone cheats a little. Will I have a slice of pizza? Absolutely, I will. Once every couple weeks, once every month, like that. I'll have a slice of pizza. But I eat healthy. I eat chicken. I eat lots of salads. I eat a lot of vegetables. I really, I enjoy the way I look now, and I want to look better. It's all about survival, and I want to live as long as possible.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry that this became a health thing, but
Oh no, it's okay.
But,
no problem at all.
It all ties in because when you're healthy, you get to play some cool guitars, and you get to do some gigging, and you get to hang out with some of your friends. Joe, I consider you one of my buddies. We've never physically met.
Thank you. Same here, man. Thank you.
And we're fairly new friends, but you're a buddy of mine, man. You're not just someone that I don't care about. I actually give a shit about you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Same here.
I'm sorry for cursing, but I just want to be matter of fact. All my buddies have met through Eddie Van Halen and the band Van Halen and these groups and all this stuff on Facebook. You guys are all my friends. It may sound very nerdy and very geeky, but this is the way it is. This is social media has made it this way. You don't have to know someone for 20 years to be friends anymore. You don't have to live in the same town, the same side of the earth.
That's right.
Mully lives in Japan, and he's my buddy.
Yeah.
We're buddies. Johnny Bean, he lives in California. I never met that guy before in my life. He's one of my best friends.
Oh yeah.
We talk. We call each other like 3-4 times a day. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Social media has done this. And,
I really love when I watch y'all on the show together. I love how y'all kind of go back and forth, and I get a kick out of that. And I was like, man, you can tell these guys are good friends.
Well, it's funny because we actually really love each other. We love each other. It's and we give it to each other on that so often. It's like he'll make fun of me, or I'll tell him I can't stand looking at you or whatever every once in a while. It's so funny because what makes our hangout work between me, him, and Rob is that the three of us are so different. Our personalities are so different from each other. It works. Keeps everyone so interested because it's not like it's not like 3 Johnny Beans or 3 Dave Nesdalls or 3 Rob Johnsons.
Right.
I was saying this in a previous hangout. If we had the same personality, I probably would have hung myself by now. I would have probably shot myself or something. But what makes it work is that we are all different, have a sense of humor. We never take anything personal. Yes, do we all have a bad day once in a while? Absolutely. I'll be the first person to admit that sometimes I can be a dick. And I try not to bring it on camera, but every once in a while you can't help it. Something bad goes on during the day, and you still got to go to work. You know, we love it. It's fun, but it's work. And sometimes
it does seem like
work with you.
It does seem like it would get a little tedious. It does seem like it would get a little tedious doing it, 3 and 4 times a week. I really don't see how y'all do it. My hat's off to y'all, because I couldn't do it 3 times a week. There's no way.
It's easier for me and Johnny because we don't have day jobs per se.
Right.
So, with Rob, he does it a little less than us because he's got a very tedious work schedule. He comes on when he can, and he's got a family. He's got an ex-wife. He's got kids. He's got a girlfriend. He's got a lot of things going on. Me, all I have is my dog and my cats. And yeah, my mom lives across the street. But that's not like having a wife and kids. Right. So, and a job. So I have time to do this. I sit and I play with my dog a lot, and I play a lot of guitar during the day, and I go to music stores during the day, and I visit my friends during the day, and and I give guitar lessons during the day, so I have a little pocket money. But it's a little easier for me than it is for guys like you, because you have a full-time job and you do this when you can. For me, this is I can do it whenever I want.
Right.
Yes. Is it a little strenuous? Is it a little strenuous on my wallet? Right now, yeah, it is, but I'll make it back. It's only money. It's only money.
Right.
You can't, yes, money is the root of all good and all evil, and you need money to survive, but you make do with what you got as well. So.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll show you one guitar I like to play, Dave, if that's all right. I don't have nothing like what you got, but
absolutely. Please do.
I used this guitar today on a video I did earlier today. I did a Hendricks cover of "The Wind Cries Mary," and of course it's the Hendricks Trap, that come out last year.
I have one of those. I have a black one on the wall.
Yeah, I remember you saying you had one, and I apologize to everybody because it's so dark, and I should have used my smartphone. It doesn't look like this, but it's I went ahead and changed the tuners out. It had the vintage style tuners on them, and I didn't like those, so I went ahead and put the locking tuners on, and and that's the first time I've ever dealt with locking tuners. I've never excuse me while I put that back. I've never dealt with those, and I didn't even know what locking tuners were. I thought it was something to do with the something with the Floyd Rose or something, but it was I went ahead and got those from Guitar Center and put them on, and I love them, man. They are fantastic. I was like, wow.
The tremolo stays in tune a lot better now, right? Tremolo stays in tune a lot better.
It does, but also the thing that I really like about it is that you just run the string through the post, and you tighten up your round clamp there, and trim off your excess, and you don't have to wind the string as much.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's so it makes to me it seems that it makes string changing a whole lot easier. So
it absolutely is.
But I really love this guitar. Not long after I bought it, I don't know why I keep looking over here. Not long after I bought it, I put some stuff about it on Facebook on some different what do you call it, groups, guitar groups.
Yeah.
And of course I was getting crap from both sides of the fence. Some people was like, that's no good because it's made in Mexico. It's just a guitar with an upside down neck, blah blah blah. And to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, all my guitars are made in Mexico. And I love this guitar. It plays fantastic. and it's a part of Jimmy, whether people want to believe that or not. I mean, the estate had to authorize that for that to be
Yeah.
okay, you know. And I love it. You know, I got to go to, I guess it was about, I don't know, probably what, about 6 years ago. A buddy of mine, who I was in a band with, he was the drummer. At that time, he was living in Atlanta, and he got me a ticket to go with him to see the Experience Hendricks shows at the Fox Theater in
Oh,
Atlanta about
sure.
6 years. And that was the first time I ever been to anything like that. And it was a surprise because he knew I really loved Jimmy, as you can tell. You know, behind me, and
Yeah,
there's
sure.
him right there, and I love Jimi Hendrix, and I just wish I could play like him, but I can't. But so we went to the Apollo Theater, and I got to see uh, Billy Cox. He come out, you know, the bass player that was with him for a long time. He came out with Ernest Isley, the guitar player of the Isley Brothers, and the house drummer was Chris Layton from Double Trouble. He was a house drummer.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And he come out and they played Red House. That was the first song they played was Red House, and Billy Cox sang it. And I did not know Billy could sing like that. He really sung the hell out
Oh,
of that
yeah.
song. And I was like, wow, you know, so I got to see, you know, that was just a moment. I said, man, I'm actually seeing a part of history right in front of me. It's Billy Cox, you know, that was Jimmy's Army buddy all those years. And when all that stuff went down with the Experience, he called Billy Cox. Billy Cox came, you know, and they joined forces. I don't know why it just turned into a history lesson. But anyway, so I got to see Billy Cox and all them. I got to see Satriani. That was the second time I got to see Sax. The first time I saw him was on the Flying in the Blue Dream tour back in like '87,
Sure.
something like that. Yeah. Fantastic. I love Satriani. Eric Johnson was there. That was the first time I got to see Eric Johnson. I love Eric Johnson.
Yeah. I've got some Eric Johnson stories.
Johnny Lang was there, and just a bunch of other people. But yeah, man, go ahead with your Eric Johnson story. That'd be awesome. Go ahead.
Well, my buddy Larry Mitchell, guitar. This was I can't remember exactly what year, but it was years ago. Eric Johnson was playing at a place called Symphony Space in Manhattan, small club. He wasn't even feeling well. He didn't sing that night. And at the time, I had an original 1960 Strat, Sunburst Rosewood fretboard. And Larry said, you should bring that. Let him check it out. So I said, okay, I'll bring it. So we go up to the dressing room where he is. And he says, so what do you have in the bag? Because I have, I have expensive Leaving the Blues bag. And he said, in that nice bag. I said, yeah, it's an original 60 Strat. At it. So he plays it, and he's playing Eric Johnson licks on my Strat. He's like, I absolutely love this Strat. Do you want to sell it to me? I'd love to buy it. I want to buy it. It was my favorite guitar at the time. I couldn't sell it. I just couldn't do it. He was like, do you mind if I play it tonight? And I'm like, well, yeah, go ahead. I don't mind. I'm going to see you play anyway. He ended up not playing it, but it was on stage with him, and he just did, he played his one. I think it was a 57 Strat the whole night. His original 57. It was on stage with him, and he did love it. He wanted to buy that guitar. It's so funny. I saw Experience Hendricks as well. When do you know my friend Andy Allador?
I've seen him over the years a lot, Mr. Dave, in the magazines and on the guitar lessons and all that stuff through the years. Yes, so I'm familiar with who you're referring to. Yes, sir.
One of my best friends. He lives one town over from me. So he tells me, this is the first time that he got to do this. He's like, do you want to come to this gig with me? I'm playing at the Iridium. It was during the Experience Hendricks tour, but he's playing at the Iridium. He says, can I borrow your Super Reverb? I'm like, borrow my Super Reverb. He says, I want to use 2 Super Reverbs. I said, okay. I said, who are you playing with? And Mitch Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
I said, not only can you borrow my Super Reverb, but can I go? He's like, yeah, you can be my guest. And I saw Andy play with Cox and Mitch Mitchell.
Wow. Unbelievable. Wow.
But you close your eyes, and it was Jimi Hendrix Experience. It was
Wow. Man, that is amazing. Amazing.
amazing. They,
Yeah.
they played two sets of music. It was just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is fantastic. I couldn't imagine. I mean, that's really cool that you I remember not long ago that you I guess on one of you and Johnny's broadcast the other week, I heard you say that you actually went and jammed with Mr. Alador on a
Oh
jam
yeah, yeah,
session.
yeah. Well, it was his gig, and he asked me to come and play. And he does that a lot. He plays on Long Island all the time, him and his band. And if I'm available, he invites me all the time. But if I'm available, I'll take a guitar and an amp and come sit in the whole night. And that's what I did.
Wow.
Second and third set. The first set, his band played and they rocked. And then I sat in second and third set for the whole night, and it was great. It was a great time. It always is. It's always a pleasure to play with. And I brought that old Strat, that old beat up Strat.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that was
That's
fun.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good time.
One more.
I've got some pretty cool friends.
Yes.
It's
Yes, you do.
I'm
You do.
grateful
You
and
sure.
very lucky.
That is awesome, man. The one last thing I like to touch on, Mr. Dave, I won't keep you much longer, was, tomorrow is the 15th anniversary of 9/11 when that tragic event happened. And I would just like to know, if you don't mind, do you remember where you were and what you were doing when that all took place on that Tuesday, 2001?
Tuesday at 9 a.m., 9:05. I was a security guard in a local mall, and I was the supervisor. I had been there for 2 hours. My shift started at 7, and I was in the office. And I remember one of the maintenance guys came in. Oh my God! A plane just hit one of the World Trade Center towers. Oh, by a small plane hit it. Are you kidding me? A small plane hit? How does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hit a big building. No, it just was flying low. It flew too low and hit the building. It just was flying. Hit the building. There's something very wrong with that. And I go into the main office, the main mall office, where they had the TV on, and the building was on fire. And this is all in real time at the moment. And they had said that a jet airliner went into the building. We saw live second plane hit, and it was battle stations, even at this mall. There's battle stations right there. I remember having to call everybody in to work. It was all hands on deck at battle stations. We were being attacked. I tried calling my family. Couldn't call in or out anywhere. The whole, the phones, everything was dead. All because everyone was making phone calls to see if their loved ones were okay.
Right.
A very, very close friend who worked in one of the towers. We were all so worried about him. Turns out that he was stuck in the subway, late to work, and he survived because he was late for work.
Oh, wow. Man.
He was underground in the subway. The second plane hit, and he couldn't make phone calls. No one knew if he was okay or not. But later on, that evening, we all found out that he was okay, safe. I personally didn't have any tragedy, friends or family, but friends of mine passed that day. A lot of tragedy. every time I see those two buildings, whether they be in video or photos, I get angry. I get angry and I get upset. And I actually, I have very mixed feelings when I go on Facebook and I see these videos of let's not forget this day, and then they show it all over again. You know what? No one is going to forget this day. No one's going to forget that day. But
Right.
we don't need to be reminded of it. We don't need to see planes hitting the buildings every 5 seconds. It doesn't need to be exploited.
Right.
Everyone that's alive, everyone that's been alive through it will remember it always. American.
Right.
Every transplanted American from any other country, anyone that's lived here, whether they be Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, black, white, purple, green, whatever you are, that we're all gonna it's very upsetting. It's very it's hard to talk about still.
Absolutely.
Always going to be hard to talk about, especially being a New Yorker. But they brought Americans together, whether you're black, white.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There was no whites hating blacks. There was no blacks hating whites. There was no blacks hating cops. There was no cops beating on blacks. There was none of that. It was, are you okay, brother? Are you okay? Is everyone okay? You know,
Right.
it was all about protecting each other and
everybody was united.
Okay.
Everybody was united for that period of time.
And I think out of all the bad that's happening today with Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, I think we should all remember what happened that day. And remember not the death, not the destruction, but remember how it brought us all together as a unit.
Right. Right.
And there was no hate. The only hate that there was for the extremists that did this. And unfortunately, the Muslim community got hate for it, and it's not all of their fault. It's not everyone's fault. It's not a total racist fault. It's an extremist. It's the extremist, and you know what? There are extremists in every race, every religion. Those are the bad people.
Right.
Not because you're black, not because you're Jewish, not because you're Egyptian, not because you're Turkish, not because you're Muslim, not because of any of that, but because you're an extremist and you don't religion farther than it ever was to an abyss that is not right. It can happen to any religion, not just one.
Right.
In every religion, not just one. It has happened in every race, not just one.
Right.
But again, I think we all need to remember that what we do need to remember is not the destruction, but the unity that it brought us.
Right.
And the peace that it brought between Americans, regardless of what color or race you were.
Right.
And we need to remember that and get back to that. Because, again, we're all Americans here. And
right.
all you are, what race you are, we're Americans, and we need to stick together.
Right. Absolutely. I remember where I was at when that happened. I was off that day from work. I just happened to be off. And I was taking my son he was 11 at the time. He's 26 now, so he's grown. But on that particular day, for some reason, I was taking him out of town to my parents in North Carolina, uh, and I was on the road, and my son had a portable CD player, and he had headphones on, and I had a Ford Ranger truck at the time, and I was just driving. I didn't have the radio on or nothing. I was just driving in my own little world. He's over there listening to his CD player, and out of the blue, I decided to turn the radio on. It was on a news talk radio station, and it was just for 5 minutes. It was just the regular broadcast, and like I said, 5 minutes later, they said they believe a small prop plane had hit the tower, and they said the World Trade Center. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't know what the World Trade Center was because I've never been to New York. I didn't know the names of the buildings and all that. And I was just,
Sure.
I knew it was something major, but I didn't know exactly what building it was. And I had the same thought. I was like, how does a plane hit something in broad daylight that big? I said, I thought maybe it clipped one of the big
antennas.
towers.
One of the antennas.
Yeah, like the antenna. I thought maybe it clipped one of those. That was what I thought. And I was like, man, something must have been wrong with that plane that clipped the antenna. And I didn't really think much about it. And then as information was trickling in through the newscast, it got more and more detailed. And then what was it, 15, 20 minutes later when the other building got hit, and they said that, I knew something was really bad wrong. And I had this feeling just come over me that I've never felt in my life. It was really fear is what it was. And I reached over to my son and I got his attention. And I told him, take those headphones off. I said, you need to listen to this because this is something serious that's happening in history right now. And I turned the radio up and they were talking about it. And of course you heard about the Pentagon and the other plane. And what was really weird, Mr. Dave, I tell you what really freaked me out was at that point in time when that second building got hit, I was on a stretch of interstate. There was nobody in front of me. There was nobody behind me. And there was nobody on the other side coming the other direction. I was the only vehicle for about 5 or 10 minutes on the interstate. You talk about feeling weird. And I even looked up through the front windshield. I'm looking. I'm like, my God, we're being attacked. And I called my mother. And she's like, I said, Mom, have you heard what's going on? Because she was watching the TV. And at this point in time, you got to remember, I was just hearing off the radio, so I didn't see any detailed images. And she said, yeah, where are you at? And I said, I'm about so-and-so. I'm so many miles away, not too far. So we got there and went inside. My dad was out of town working a job at the time. He wasn't there. So we walked inside and my mom had the TV on, and that's when I saw the two towers that just had the smoke bellowing out of both.
Crumble.
And then I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I sat down and I was just in disbelief. I was like, this can't be happening. And then when they collapsed, that's what really, it just, I just couldn't believe that. I mean, I was just to the point of tears. Because I just felt that, since tomorrow's the anniversary of that, and I didn't mean for this to turn into another different thing here on this broadcast. So I apologize to anybody watching, but I think it's very important to remember that, because there's a lot of people that lost a lot of loved ones in that tragic event, and so it's just, it's something that I never thought I'd see happen in my lifetime. I never thought I'd see anything like that. So
bad enough. It's not bad enough that the people that died in the planes and the people that died on impact.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
That's not bad enough. But then to watch people buildings because they'd rather die when they hit the ground than to burn to death very slowly. They all knew that they were going to die, so they chose to die by jumping out of windows, have a heart attack on the way down, or not feel it once they hit. That was disturbing. That was just, that's what left the pit in my stomach, that people actually had to think about, well, do I want to burn or do I want to die quickly?
I couldn't imagine.
happen? How does that happen to people? How is it that we have to think about that? How is that had to happen? I'm definitely going to die today, but I don't want to burn slowly and feel the pain and then jump out of the window and hit the ground and not feel it. That is so deep. It's disturbing. It's just disturbing that it all had to happen.
It sure is.
It's funny that you had it. It's not funny, but it's session, and I feel this way every September 10th and 11th. I have the same feeling every year. I don't forget what happened, and we don't forget what happened, but it gets very, very intense the couple days before and until a couple days after. It's like almost like it's happening again. Especially because you see all these things on Facebook, all these reminders where they say, in the caption, you must not forget, and then they actually show the films of the planes hitting and the people. And I think that doesn't need to be seen again. I don't think it needs to be seen again. And most of the time when I see stuff like that, I actually unfriend the person that posts it. Because we all know no one's ever going to forget.
Right.
No one. It's the same way for me when I I don't need to get on a tangent, but I'm going to say this one other thing. I'm also an animal lover. I'm not an activist. I'm not one of those crazy people. But when I see people posting videos of human beings torturing animals, throwing baby kittens into the drown, kicking dogs.
Yeah, I can't.
I saw some sort of, and forgive me for saying it's an Arabic person, but that's just, I don't know if it was an Arabic person, but it was someone from the other side of the world, had a big dog strung up, bricks at its head, and the dog was screaming, and it was a live feed, and I was so angry. Not only did I leave a real nasty comment on a friend's post, then I deleted and blocked that person. Because I don't think anyone needs to see that. There's plenty of, everyone knows that there's plenty of bad and plenty of hate, and plenty of people that are hurting animals and doing this stuff. I don't think it needs to be seen. I don't think it needs, because children are looking at this. Anyone who can be on Facebook, and it's not right. So I just.
When it comes,
it's unfortunate that this world is, good news is not news. Good news, happy news is not news to people. Bad news is news.
Right.
And that's
dirty laundry.
Dirty laundry. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I'm sick and tired of it. We all are. I would much rather hear about good stuff. I'd be just as happy hearing about good stuff and just as interested in hearing about good stuff than the bad stuff. So let's have some good stuff.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe it's just me being, innocent, and nobody's innocent, but it's I'm tired. I'm just tired of all the bad and all the ugly. There's too much of that in the world, and we need to get back to the good and peace. We need to get back to peace.
Right. Well, Mr. Dave, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me again. This is very, very awesome. And I want to thank you so much for your time. And I'll go ahead and get ready to jump off here because I know it's after 9 o'clock and I don't want to keep people too long. And I, once again, people, if you're watching, I apologize about the live chat not being activated. I screwed up somewhere. Next time it won't be like that, I promise. And I'll have it fixed. So that's my bad. I apologize. So, so Mr. Dave, thank you very much for taking the time to be on here and to show your guitars and to share your stories. I find that very, very interesting. Very awesome. So thank you.
I appreciate it, and I love your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to everybody else, thank you for joining. Mr. Dave, thank you again. Have a great night, my friend. To everybody
All right,
else,
brother.
thanks for tuning in. This is
Peace.
Joe for the Joe Wentz Project podcast. Everybody be safe, take care of each other, and peace out.